So today on the show, we've got John Hintz of Warrior Tattoo and as well as the Valor Fit organization. I asked John to come on because we have not interviewed a tattoo guy yet, and John's a cool cat. So I asked him to come on and just kind of talk about himself today. So thanks for showing up. I appreciate your time.
I appreciate you inviting me.
Well, let's just kind of get into it. So for those in Des Moines that do not know who John Hintz is, tell us about like Cliff Note version of yourself.
Born and raised in Iowa. Went to the military for 20 years.
Yeah.
Came back, opened a tattoo shop, and here we sit.
Okay, so let's kind of talk about that.
Right on. Yeah.
So where did you grow up here?
Kind of everywhere. My dad was a school administrator, so about every 3 or 4 years we moved.
Okay.
So born in small town Iowa, Winterset.
Okay.
Ended up in Ballard, Huxley, Spencer, Forest City, Newton, just moving all over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you graduated high school and went straight into the Army.
Nope, went straight to college.
Okay.
So I was an art kid. I went to Wartburg College up in Waverly, Iowa.
Okay.
Got an art degree, which meant nothing, but it was fun.
Yeah. Well, back then it didn't.
Yes, true. But yeah, I graduated from college, had a lot of debt like every kid does when they graduate college.
Yeah.
And some recruiter walked up to me one day and he said, if you join the military, I can send you to college. I was like, I already graduated.
Yeah, too
and
late.
he's like, cool, then I'll pay off your college loans. And I was like, okay, you have my attention.
Yeah.
And so I went in the next day and that was it. They said they could pay off my college loans, so I joined for 4 years.
Right, and then in between that, you rise through the ranks in the Army, correct?
Army was interesting. I went in right off the bat, and I went in to the 82nd Airborne Division, was a sniper in the 82nd, jumped out of planes.
You were a Ranger.
I was not a Ranger. I went to Ranger school and broke my ankle. So yes, did not graduate from Ranger school. That's a sore subject. But I did make it through sniper school and airborne school and all the things. Got to go to Panama during my first 4 years, do some cool stuff there.
Yeah.
It was just great.
Wait, you spent 4 years in Panama?
Only spent about 8 months in Panama on a deployment. I was at the 82nd in a really interesting time. Plane crashes. I was, sniper shootings on post, all sorts of stuff. So it was a rough 4 years. But I did 4 years, got out, came back here, was here for about 2.5 years. 9/11 happened, and then I went back in.
Right back in.
Yeah, all my friends were going to war, so I wanted to go shoot at somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody bad.
Somebody bad. Let's reemphasize.
Caveat.
Bad. Yeah. So you went back into the service, and then you were deployed?
Sure. So I went back in the service, and I went back in as an enlisted guy, which meant I was a sergeant again.
Okay.
After getting in a very short amount of time, thought I was going to deploy. They sent me right to officer candidate school.
Yeah, OCS.
Which changed everything.
Yes.
Because now I was the officer.
Yeah.
Which I didn't want to be, but I ended up as an officer. So so I went, did that stuff. I deployed to Iraq first, Afghanistan later, Saudi Arabia. Combat deployments were pretty rough. So yeah.
And then you came back to the States?
Came back to the States. So I was basically stationed out of like Kentucky or Colorado or North Carolina.
Okay.
And then would go to, so like for instance, Iraq, I was at Colorado. So I went to Iraq for a year. I was a scout platoon leader. They sent me to a pretty bad area. Lost some great guys and a lot of fighting. Came back, regrouped a little bit, went to Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
Yeah.
101st, and went back over to Afghanistan, and they put me in a pretty bad spot in the mountains and fought there for a year and lots of experiences and got back. So. And
then when you came back, where were you stationed then?
Right when I got back, I was going through a divorce actually. And that's kind of where I decided that I'm going to retire.
Okay.
I could either stay in and continue on. Yep.
20 years.
Yep. So I could either continue on or get out and come back here and be with my kids. So that was the choice.
So you came to Des Moines?
Yep, came back to Des Moines.
So you retired as a major?
Retired as a major.
And then came here, and then you started working for tattoo shops?
So it was crazy. I retired on a Friday, and I started working on Monday for Target. So
really?
I'm not even kidding you.
Yeah.
I got a 2-day retirement celebration, and then I started working as a logistics team leader at Target.
Okay.
Which basically meant when the trucks show up at 3 a.m, I'm there to help unload them with a crew.
Right.
I make sure everything gets stocked, and I basically knew I was going to be there for 6 months to a year, save some money. I was getting retirement from the military, and that funds the new tattoo shop.
Okay.
And that was it. So worked for them for a little bit, dropped my notice right before Thanksgiving and Black Friday and all those things.
Before you were going to
didn't want to have to work all those hours. No kidding. and then decided to open a shop in Waukee, a tattoo shop in Waukee, right outside of Des Moines.
Okay.
And everybody thought I was crazy.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
Everybody thought I was crazy.
Because Waukee was just so
far out there.
Yeah.
It's so far out there. It's literally like 15 minutes from downtown Des Moines.
Right. What year was that?
That was 4.5 years ago. So I'd put it at about 2016, 2015
Yeah, but that area was like booming. It
was
still
incredible.
is.
Okay, so I got here and everybody said, John, all my old friends, John, go to Des Moines, downtown, all these areas. And I'm like, I'm looking at Waukee. And they're like, that's crazy. And I'm the one looking at the market research, the development. And I'm like, okay, a lot of tattoo people need to look more at that stuff. And
because they can afford the tattoos. Yeah. Like, let's just be honest.
I mean, I looked at it as suburban Iowa. It was up and coming, lots of things being built there. And there was no tattoo shop, no competition there. So I'd be the first one.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was perfect setup, perfect place to go. Found a little tiny spot that only was like $1,000 a month, but yet sat between 3 restaurants. So I knew that I'd get a lot of foot traffic, a lot of visibility. I didn't have to market a lot because everybody saw my shop every day.
Right. Yeah.
So it just worked. Immediately it worked.
So currently where Waukee, or in Waukee, you just took that space and then eventually you just grew more into that.
So yeah, I took a space that was like 800 square feet. It was going to be just me.
Yeah.
I was like, I've got a following. I'm back here. I know I'll tattoo.
Yeah.
And then the day before we opened, 2 tattoo artists that I've known from my past rolled in. They ended up tattooing with me for about 6 months to a year before I fired them, but brought in new people. And what I really learned was, don't necessarily bring in somebody that's a tattoo artist that has problems or issues.
Yeah.
Maybe find a young artist that you can mold into a good tattoo artist. So that's been the philosophy we've kept. Every artist that's at the shop, I've had 6 of them, I've taught every one of them. So taught and trained young artists through the apprentice program. So all of them young, all of them in their 18 to 21 age group for teaching them, and it was perfect. And then eventually we outgrew the space. We have 6 artists now, so we went from 800 square feet to about 3,000 square feet.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the nicest shops in the entire central Iowa area.
Yeah, I walked in there a couple weeks ago and I was like, holy crap, this is legit.
The first thing we did was we painted a big flag on the wall.
Yeah.
And the whole goal was just to make it unapologetically patriotic.
Yeah.
Like I served, if you don't like it, I understand, but it's still going to be right there in your face.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think it's great.
Yes.
I think it's cool.
Cool.
And if you guys have never been, like, it's like there's Star Wars and there's Marvel and there's your military stuff back there, and I mean it's I wouldn't say it's eclectic, but it kind of is.
It's pretty cool, and I think what really got us to a point where we took off was a lot of law enforcement coming to us. They started to see the flag. They started to see the military background. Mm-hmm. So before you know it, we were connecting with like first responders.
Yes.
So a lot of EMS, a lot of firefighters, a lot of police.
Yeah.
And one of them told me a story. He's like, well, I went in to get tattooed not too long ago, and I walked into a shop, and the guy was like, oh, you arrested me not too long ago. And the police officer was like, okay, so I'm going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, probably not going to get a tattoo today.
Yeah, and so we connected really quickly with those first responders and military, and that built our just client base tremendously, really quick.
For you or for the shop in general?
I would say for the shop in general, because I mean, a lot of, like if somebody's getting a flag tattooed or something military, they're probably coming to me.
Okay.
There's just this bond and connection. And there's also, so tattoos are therapy.
Correct.
That's just, when you sit down, it's kind of like going to get a haircut, I guess, or going to see a therapist. You're going to gossip a little bit, you're going to talk. But one of the coolest things was the military individuals would come in, and eventually police officers, and they would tell me about some pretty rough situations and things they'd been through.
Well, because they're sitting with you for hours at a time.
Yeah, and on my wall right next to them, there's 2 Purple Hearts that I got from Iraq, Afghanistan.
Yeah.
It shows the combat stuff. And so immediately they were like, I connect with this person.
Yeah, identifying with you.
So, I mean, I've heard some rough stories. I mean, all the way from police officers that were the first person on an accident where there was a child involved to, how they lost a buddy in Iraq. And I think I can connect. And I think that's why so many people keep coming back. I mean, and maybe it's a little bit of their therapy, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
real.
great.
Yeah.
So Warrior Tattoo, located in Waukee, kind of tell for those that have never been that want to get there because, your shop is great.
Sure.
Where are you located and what's the best way to make an appointment?
Well, I think that Waukee was interesting because when I got there was like no main street in my mind. It was a university, was it Hickman? What was it?
Yeah.
Where's the center? So Hickman Road to me seems to be like your main spot.
Correct.
There's kind of a grouping of buildings down there. Right across the street from McDonald's is this big strip mall, and we're in it.
Yeah. Okay.
So we sit right next to some really cool businesses on Hickman Road. Easiest way to make an appointment is just call into the shop anymore, but we get a lot of messages to the Facebook or Instagram.
Okay.
Those kind of things. But it's super busy. I think all the artists are booked anywhere from 2 to 6 months out now.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
it's
great.
awesome.
So book now, and then you eventually find some room for them.
Yep.
But you also have a cancellation list, correct?
Have a cancellation list, yeah. Yep. So try to take those people and plug them in as soon as we can to the artist that best fits. And we have just a really young, eclectic, crazy group of artists, except for me. I'm not so much young.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So like you have Square, and then you have Jess.
So we have this really unique group. So we have Hallie Haas.
Correct.
Hallie is, I want to say she's like 23. She came to me when she was 18.
Yeah.
She was this artistic kid who didn't have a lot of friends in school, really quiet. She's now phenomenal. I mean, she's a great artist. She'll talk to you. She'll look you in the eye. She's not scared of anything.
Yeah.
She's a CrossFitter. She does all these great things.
Okay.
She's wonderful. Squared. Jess Longfield, he came to me. He's got a really interesting story.
He does.
Been through a lot and showing just how diverse the world can be, and it can be amazing.
Yeah.
But he's an incredible artist. He's wanted to be a tattoo artist since he was 14. Rolled into the shop, didn't want to hire him, and I couldn't really say no because he was just too good.
Yeah.
And he's exceptional.
He was your first apprentice?
Hallie was my first, and then we had Squared.
Okay.
And we called him Squared simply because we had 2 Jesses in there,
Right.
so I immediately termed him Squared.
Squared.
Yep. Grim is Jessie Graves, and she was a roller derby girl for 7 years.
Oh, nice.
And so her nickname was Violent Grim.
Nice.
And I used to see pictures, and I'm telling you what, she's scary. And the story there is that one day on Facebook, I see a girl make a post saying, I had to quit my job because a manager was inappropriate with me, and it really just sucks. And I'm like, well, that's too bad. So I reached out to her, and she's terrifying. She looks scary. I reached out and I said, I have a store manager spot if you want to come talk to me. And she's like, do I know you? And I'm like, I don't have a clue who you are. And she rolled in the next day, and I hired her as shop manager, and lo and behold, she was an artist, and I taught her how to tattoo, and now she's a tattoo artist.
Okay.
And then we just brought in another artist from a shop here in town. She's exceptional. So we just have this really young, incredible group. Yeah. And I'm like the dad figure.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's like the same dynamic here.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I call my staff my kids because
Right on.
they're all younger than me.
Yep.
And then people are like, "You have children?" I'm like, "No."
You look super young. That's amazing.
Because I'm half Korean, but they're all younger than me. So I'm like, well, I just have my kid do it. And they're like, wait, you have a kid? And I was like, no. They just work for me. I just call them kids because they're all younger than me.
Yeah, everybody calls me dad.
I get it. Yeah.
It's too much.
It's not too much.
At times. It's okay. I deal with it.
Yeah, you do a good job.
Right on.
So again, if you want an appointment, check out Facebook page, Instagram page, send you a message, get on the list or the cancellation list, and
or just come into the shop. I really encourage that. I realize during COVID, everybody kind of shies away from certain things, but typically the front end of our shop is pretty open. Everybody's seated and getting tattooed, so just walking in to see the environment will make you realize why it's a pretty cool shop.
Yeah, it really is. I dig it. So
big open space, no little rooms that you're getting carted off to. Just you're going to be right in the middle of 8 conversations. It's kind of fun.
You're going to see it all.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I actually went in there because I wanted to buy coffee for Marie because I knew that you were selling it. So I was like,
Marie's one of my faves. So she's awesome.
So if you don't know who Marie is, it's the Traveling Bean Co.
The Traveling Bean. And we were lucky enough to be able to do some of her logos. Some of her little design work.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to Marie a long time ago when this was starting. Like it was a concept.
Right.
And as I'm talking to her on the phone, I was scribbling this little drawing. And I took a picture and sent it to her. And that's now one of her little logos on her bean bags.
Nice.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
A little nostalgia. But
yeah. Just to see that come to life.
Yep. And with any luck down the road, maybe there's some kind of connection there. I don't know what it would be, but it could be pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Because I know Square did some of her stickers and things like that.
Yeah, Square designed a bunch of her stuff on the new Betty, the little 1978 VW van or bus.
Yeah.
A lot of the logo works from Squared. And it was cool. And it was awesome because it was during a time, during COVID, we got shut down for 2 months.
Right.
So Squared, with his artistic talent, was still designing, doing things. So he did a lot of work for Marie.
Yeah.
And it's just cool to see it like, there it was the other day, her first event. I'm looking at her van. It's spectacular. And there's our logo work.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that van's pretty boss.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's super cool.
If you can get up over 45 mile an hour.
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, Marie's good stuff.
Yep.
Okay, so again, Warrior Tattoo, check out their Facebook page, Instagram page. Just reach out to them and they'll try to accommodate your needs there.
Yes.
Awesome. And then you're also involved with ValorFit, the veteran organization.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
So for the person that's never heard of ValorFit, how would you explain what ValorFit is?
ValorFit helps veterans to reintegrate with certain things. A lot of veterans come home, they've been to war, they've been to different things, and they're having problems with social anxiety.
Right.
Just connecting with people in general. When you're in the military, you're in a team, and all of a sudden you get out of the military and you're not part of a team anymore.
You're by yourself.
Yep. ValorFit's goal, in my opinion, is to connect you with a group fitness facility to where, number one, you can break down some of your social anxiety. You can start to work out again. You can start to become part of a family, because a lot of these group fitness facility places are definitely a family.
Right.
So I'd say that was the number one draw for me to be a part of it, was to help veterans. I've lost a tremendous amount of guys overseas to combat, all sorts of different injuries. I think I've lost more by far to suicide back home.
Okay.
So to help, reduce those numbers, the 22 a day kind of thing, 22 a day veteran suicides, that's tremendous. And if we can knock that down, which hopefully we can,
right.
It's a great organization.
Okay. And how long have you been a part of ValorFit?
Been a part of ValorFit for about a year. They asked me to come on as the vice president of ValorFit. The goal is to see it grow nationwide.
Okay.
It's a slow process. The first process is figuring out how to run our internal systems better. And once we do, we can help a lot more veterans.
Yeah.
COVID hit, and once again, it slowed us down, but our goal was already to be up in Minneapolis at the VA and some other facilities.
Okay.
As soon as things open up a little bit, that is where we're going.
Okay.
So we're going to start to expand.
And so how many veterans are you working with right now? Do you know offhand?
I would say right now we're working probably about 40 veterans are in the program. We've helped over 500 since it's in onset.
Wow. That's a lot.
Helped a tremendous amount of veterans. A lot of them come forward and say that they were right on the verge of suicide, and that's the reason we're here, is to help,
For sure.
And a lot of people can say they help, but to put people in an environment around other people, to get them reintegrated, adjusted, because a lot of times that's it. Like when I came home, I was terrified driving down the road. If I'd see a garbage on the side of the road, I thought it was an IED. I was terrified. I drove into the ditch.
Yeah.
I did all sorts of crazy things.
Yeah.
So it's hard to just become normal again. I know it's weird to say, but really ValorFit helps.
Because the Army doesn't really give you the tools that you need once you get home. Like if you get out, you just get out.
No, and the other thing is we're all terrified of the Army, to be honest.
Yeah.
So when I came home, they'd see, did you see this, this, and this? Well, I saw all of that. Okay, do you need to see a therapist? Nope, I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to talk to anybody.
And they never pushed it.
Nope. But I don't want them to. At that point, you're scared for, is it going to affect my promotion?
Correct.
Is it going to affect, can I go back overseas and fight again? So you're conditioned to say no.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you retire, or you get out after you've fulfilled your contract. Well, now what?
Correct.
And that's when I think the social anxiety, the things that you've had in the past, they kind of pile up on your shoulders quick.
Yeah.
So
without even realizing it.
No, it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it happens fast.
Yeah. I remember telling you, because my dad did 3 tours in Vietnam. I remember when I was a kid, I would wake up in the middle of the night because I was thirsty. So I would just always I would have to walk past their room to get to the kitchen. And it was raining, and this big clap of thunder and lightning just literally struck at the same time. And I've never seen my dad jump up out of his bed and hit the ground as fast as he did. And he's a big dude, 230, you know what I mean? So 6 feet, 230, just to hit the floor that fast was just it was almost like if I would have blinked, I would have missed it. That's how fast it is.
Well, it's crazy because I was in a high V. So I'm just standing in a high V and with my daughter, who's young at the time. And I didn't realize kind of what issues I had. I knew I'd been through a lot. I'd been blown up 8 times. I think I had 8 IEDs in Iraq. And I'm standing with her, and I drop a can of corn, and makes loud noise, and I hit the deck.
Yeah.
And my little daughter looks at me and says, "Dad, it's just a can of corn."
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, and it's one of those moments where you're like, I'm going to be okay, but you also realize I probably need some help.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's that much effect from a noise, and I didn't even know I had anything. So
yeah, you don't even realize you have PTSD.
No, you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. And you're trying to avoid it at all costs. And then eventually it's just there.
So how did you work your way through that?
I spoke to high schools so I was on a 60 Minutes piece. Once that came out, I ended up speaking to a lot of different high schools, colleges, just going around. Yeah. And I think that forced me to tell my story.
Better.
And the more you talk about things, the more you tell your story, the more you're okay with it. Yeah. I think the biggest problem is a lot of veterans come home and they shut down. It's boxed up. It's, I can compartmentalize a little bit, but that's not necessarily the best way to approach things. You tuck it all away, at some point it's coming back up.
Yeah.
Just like your father, I'm sure, he's trying to hide a lot of things, but
yeah,
sometimes they just can't be hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it, is just going out and being able to speak and talk, whether that's through therapy or friends or being in front of organizations.
Yeah.
It gets your story out there. It makes you feel okay with what you've done, because a lot of us have done quite a bit.
Yeah.
So
basically, the more times that you talk about it, the more that you come to terms with it.
Yeah, 100%.
So and that's what you try to do for Valor Fit. That's
going to be, there's a lot of things going on within Valor Fit right now, and one of the things that I think has to happen is more of a focus on our veterans, the group. It can't be just about our CEO and founder. Or president founder. It can't be that. It has to be about everybody and their story. We have to focus more on all of the success stories. But yeah, that's it. Getting people to talk. I want to go out there and speak to schools. I want to go out there and talk. I talked the other day at Camp Dodge to their officer candidate school class.
Yeah, OCS.
Yeah. So I want to just make sure I go out there and speak more. The more you speak, the more you connect with people, the more they might say, I've got an issue. And that's the connection you need. Right. Or maybe my brother does, or sister, or whoever.
Yeah. It's just bringing that awareness.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pushing ourselves. We got to get out there. So
if somebody wants to get in touch with you on a speaking engagement, what's the best way to contact you for that?
I think the easiest way is always just to call me at Warrior Tattoo Studio. Okay. We've always got a lady, the shop manager, always on the phone.
Yeah.
I've been reached there a number of times. Sometimes messages fall through, but I would say just call in the shop.
Okay. And what's the phone number at the shop?
515-918-6702.
Okay. So if you're interested in John coming to speak to your group, organization or business or whatever, that's the best way to get in touch with you.
And I've been blessed. I've talked to Adele a couple times. Johnston, I got to go over there. I talked to some other groups. It's just a great opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a phenomenal story. Why not?
It's okay.
Well, okay. It's okay, but you're okay talking about that.
Yes.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Is that, and I think some of it is that you're super real. You're very honest. And some of that is your military background. You're just very direct, right?
Sure.
So you're gonna talk about it without having those hang-ups, because you've talked about it enough that you've worked through those hang-ups.
Well, my dad always talked about legacy, and I think that's a powerful word. He'd always say, what's your legacy? It's not about you, it's about what you leave for others.
Correct.
And so the legacy at the tattoo shop is these young artists. They're going to carry on when I'm not tattooing anymore. And Valor Fit, the legacy would be some of these people can now carry on their lives and be productive and be better family people. Yeah. Rather than sitting in a little box and being scared.
Yeah.
Legacy.
For sure.
Good things.
Yeah. Okay. So Valor Fit's website is
valorfit.org.
Okay.
If you just type in Valor Fit, it pops right up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you are a veteran and you are having an issue or issues, reach out to Valor Fit and just have that conversation, because you guys you'll mobilize somebody to come talk to them, correct?
We right off the bat, there's going to be an application online they'll fill out. We'll respond to them within 3 days if they meet the criteria for the program, because there's a little bit. They'll be connected with a facility in their area, a fitness facility. They'll start that, and we'll pay for 8 weeks of their training and their personal training sessions. So we pay for a few months in there to get them going, to get the right foot forward.
Yeah.
And then from that point, our goal is to hand it on to them. This is now your time.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where we stand.
So Valor Fit covers 8 weeks of their fitness.
Yeah. When they come in, they're going to be able to tell their story a little bit to a trainer. I'm a coach. That coach is then going to kind of determine where they're at, like physically, mentally, to make sure that they don't throw them into something too quickly.
Correct.
So they have, I think, 5 personal training sessions, one-on-ones with a coach to really build some rapport. And then from that point, you move forward. You have 8 weeks to go to classes, to be there, to be accountable, to learn, to grow. And then at the end of that 8 weeks, we're handing you the ball. You run with it. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yep.
Yeah, one of my favorite coaches that you guys have is Thomas at CrossFit.
Merle
Hay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Thomas. Thomas is good shit.
He's amazing. Veteran. He and I have talked a lot. He's been through a lot. That's what's kind of unique is a lot of these places are intertwined with veterans that have had tremendous experience, and you don't really even know it unless you take the time to learn and meet people.
Yeah. The only reason why I knew is because he wears those bracelets, and I know what those bracelets signify because I grew up as a military kid. So.
Yep. And I would have one on. They break too damn regularly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I wore them, and the hardest part about wearing those bracelets is you wear them. Penance is a great word too. Penance is like you're going to live with this pain.
Correct.
So you kind of want to carry that pain on. And for me, I'd wear that bracelet, and it was every day I could sit there and I could look at that bracelet, and it'd make you smile for the good times, but it also made you realize that somebody sacrificed
their life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can tell you every story. I mean, I can tell you every story. I've been to their homes. I've been to where they're buried. I've been to all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah, it is real.
So, but that's the beauty of somebody who paid the ultimate sacrifice, is that you don't let that go away. The continued responsibility of making sure people realize just what that individual gave for their country.
Right.
Pretty awesome. I mean, a 19-year-old kid. I had a 19-year-old kid in Afghanistan, and to this day, the funniest kid I've ever met. Kid's maybe 140 pounds soaking wet, but yet he could walk up a mountain with a full pack like I could, and it was amazing. Gave it all. Yep.
Yeah.
Good things.
Correct. So again, valorfit.org.
Yep.
Fill out the application. Somebody will reach out to you if you meet their criteria, and then you guys will go through the process with them.
Yep. And then they get to go do some CrossFit.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
For sure. And then, so what are big things coming up for Warrior Tattoo and for ValorFit?
I'd say that the biggest thing for Warrior Tattoo is November 7th, which is a Saturday. We've got an event. It's essentially suicide awareness for veterans.
Correct.
All the proceeds are going to go to ValorFit.
Right.
Our goal is to raise $10,000 to give to ValorFit. That will pay for a lot of veterans to go through and get on the right track.
Yeah.
So that's our biggest one. After that, in December, we do what's called Toys for Tats.
Okay.
Somebody brings in a $20 toy with a receipt. We give them a $50 gift certificate. So for every toy you bring in, you essentially get $30 off a tattoo.
Wow.
Well, it's huge. Like last year, we did almost 15,000 in toys, and we donate them to the children and families of Iowa. The headquarters, I think, is right down the street.
Okay.
But we've done that for 4 years now. We're now part of their quarterly brief.
Nice.
Because they had to actually go from this little tiny room, because we would fill them with toys, to now they're in like a conference room, and we still fill it.
Nice.
So that'll be our next big one. For ValorFit, really, it's kind of a reintegration of what we're all about. Maybe it's stop focusing so much on the people that founded ValorFit and focus more on the people that are becoming part of ValorFit.
Okay.
Veterans throughout this country that are going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So I think the story just needs to shift from one or two individuals to a whole lot of individuals.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's going to be the shift.
Yeah, we can't wait to see that.
That's going to be amazing.
That's going to be huge.
Yeah,
huge for you guys.
Yep. Good things.
Yeah, for sure. And then, so if I wanted to participate in the ValorFit thing, because that's going to be like an every year thing for you guys, right?
Yep.
Because part of the tattoo studio, you'll announce everything on Instagram on like how to book your appointments for these tattoos, correct?
Yeah. So we've started about a month ago. We started kind of this teaser about what we're going to do for this ValorFit, veteran suicide awareness thing.
Yeah.
We're going to have a donate button, which starts out this coming Saturday, which will run for 7 days prior to the event.
Okay.
Our goal is to make $5,000 on donations. We're going to do $6,000 worth of tattoos in a day. We're donating all of that.
Yeah.
We have T-shirts we're going to sell. We also have Marie with the Traveling Bean will be there to donate some of the sales.
Yeah,
and
we'll
then
be
Echo
there
will also.
To catch her.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, to capture
So
her.
the goal originally was $10,000 to donate to the cause, but I think we're going to push past it.
Yeah, it sounds like you're already pushing past it.
Yeah. So just want to try to keep it, don't want to go over the top, but at the same time, I'm hoping it goes a little bit viral and we make a lot more.
So this will be an annual thing.
Yes.
At Warrior Tattoo.
Yes.
And then Traveling Bean will be there, and Echo's Cookies in Waukee as well.
Yes. And then the goal in time is to make this more of a veteran-owned business event to where we bring in other organizations. and we hopefully stage them out in the parking lot. At maybe some point in time we have to move to earlier in the year just because maybe it's a little warmer.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Well, hopefully the weather looks like it's warming up now.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. We'll see.
Yeah. Don't hold your breath.
It's Iowa. There we go.
Yeah. And then Toys for Tats, that starts when?
Toys for Tats usually starts the day after Thanksgiving, and that turns so right around the 21st-ish, 19th, we take the toys to CFI.
Okay.
My goal would be, even if you don't donate, go into the shop mid-December.
Okay.
And see the piles of toys that completely engulf the entire tattoo shop.
Yes, absolutely.
It's unbelievable. I mean, literally piles of. I mean, it's crazy. We had a pile of toys that went straight down the center of our studio last year, and it's 6 feet high. It was like a pyramid, a wall of toys. It was the craziest thing you've ever seen. And the tree you couldn't even see anymore because we piled the toys. So it's just, I don't know, if you need a feel good moment in the holidays, that's it.
Yeah, just stop by the shop.
Oh yeah, it's just the coolest thing. Yep.
So that starts the day after Thanksgiving, and then when's the last day that you run your gift certificate exchange program?
I think, well, if they get gift certificates, it runs straight through the year.
Okay.
But I think typically right around the 19th to the 21st is when we stop.
Okay.
So usually we have about 3 weeks, and in that 3 weeks, it's just a zoo in there. It's crazy. So it's going to be awesome.
And then the gift certificate is good for a year?
Yep. So until the next event. So typically we tell people, hey, when we start this next year, that's when they go.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Okay, so check out Toys for Tats in December, right, the day after Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And then this goes until the 19th or 21st of December.
Perfect.
And then what's anything coming up first of the year for 2021? Anything new?
I think that's when we're just going to take a breather.
Okay.
We hopefully next year we're going to be at a lot of tattoo conventions. We had just started going. It's you got to find a way to make yourself better at your craft.
Yeah, pre-COVID.
Tattoo conventions.
Yeah.
Are it. So we were going to quite a bit of the conventions. COVID hit. This past year we were supposed to go to 12. We ended up going to 0 because they were all canceled.
Yeah.
But that's a goal next year, is to be traveling across the United States with 4 to 6 artists and tattoo.
Yeah, that's badass.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, those are definitely interesting.
I can't wait. Can't wait.
That's great.
Yep.
And again, if you want to schedule an appointment, check out Facebook, Instagram, Warrior Tattoo, shoot them a message, and then they'll try to schedule you guys as well.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Excellent. Well, John, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate everything that you gave. And then hopefully I can bring you back in 2021 and kind of follow up and see where you're at. And
It'd
just
be awesome.
kind of figure it out. And if anything news come up,
Sure.
I mean, we can talk about all that good stuff.
Right on. Thanks so much.
All right. Again, John Hintz, Warrior Tattoo. Check out Facebook, check out Instagram, soon to be maybe a website. And then valorfit.org is his organization. Check that out. If you are a veteran, please, please, please take the time to reach out to them. Even if it's not a good fit, you guys will try to work with them on finding a good fit, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you're a veteran and if you just need somebody to talk to, reach out and then they will try to help you out. Again, John, thanks for your time. I appreciate you so much for coming. And
it's awesome. Thanks.
John, Warrior Tattoo.